Okay, so we're gonna play as a ranger here. This is a place that overlooks the entire valley. You can see this is a good place to get an eye of what's going. You can see if the crops are burning or if the pump house over there is on fire. You can see if the harpies are there. You can look up and see some of the harpies flying above the dam right now. So let's go out on our tour of Queensdale. Okay, so now we're heading over to the town of Claypool, and Claypool is an interesting town. Oh, looks like somebody's having problems with some rustlers. Bandits have taken over his ranch. Okay, we also have some Skrit thieves in the area. It looks like you can see there's 2 events actually up there right now. You'll notice our rangers got their bear pad out.
I get a feeling Matthew is lost. Oh no, he hasn't met.
Yeah, so this area around Claypool is outside of the area most people have been playing in. It has a lot of old enemies that you'll be remembering from Guild Wars 1, including Scale. Everybody remembers killing Scale right out of the beginning in Prophecies, right? Wave of water that just showed up was an elementalist healing and damaging enemies. You can see the rangers using spread shot. This is a short bow, so it's a very mobile weapon. Very different from the longbow. If the ranger can get behind or to the side of enemies with the short bow, it can inflict better damage and in fact stun.
One thing you can see here is like, you see this red border around the screen. Like, we want to make our combat very visual, so you really get a visual feedback on what's happening. So you've seen that red border which showed you that your hit points are getting low, so you get a visual indicator of that as well.
Yeah, now the ranger's reviving their bear pet. You could see an elementalist came in breathing fire there really, just before that. So you can get an idea here how kind of combat works with a small group that's working together. We've got, someone of every profession here. One thing to note about the ranger has a lot of control over their pets. You can see that panel there in the bottom corner. If Matthew wanted to, he could click on that thing that looks like a little paw, and he could bring that panel up and rename his pet. He can also, as he plays with his pet, he can unlock new abilities, new slots to drag abilities to. You can see that bear's got a lot of abilities. And once he unlocks those slots, he can kind of customize how his bear plays.
As you've seen, like when the ranger was reviving his pet, this is the reviving in Guild Wars 2. It also works in a way that every character can basically revive other characters and even NPCs without using a skill.
Yeah. Now you'll notice Matthew just switched to, he switched back to bow. Let's see if we can get him to switch back to his melee. So he switched back to a war horn and a sword, and now he's summoned a flock of birds in there to attack one of the bandits. He does that with his war horn. He can also buff his allies with his war horn. We want the ranger with the sword to be a capable melee combatant. So this is a good example of the versatility we've been talking about with our professions. Matthew could take a look at what the combat situation on the battlefield wants him to do, and he can swap to that. So if he needs to support his allies, he can switch to that war horn. Looks like we're going to continue our travels here. We're in an area called the God's Lost Swamp, so that's where the Shadow Behemoth that I think you guys have seen in other demos is. Another thing to note about God's Lost Swamp is it got its name because that's where the Temple of the Ages is. Something happened in the last 250 years where the Temple of the Ages has been forsaken by the gods, and we'll probably go get a look at that. But as you can see now, we've got some of our big oat carts here. They've made it mad. So one thing you'll notice is the oat carts will occasionally bind a character up in roots. Those roots are an attackable object. Other players can destroy the roots to free their friends. This is one of the things we want to do in the game, is build lots of teamwork in the game. Matthew just put a trap down, which is one of his utility skills. People will remember rangers and traps, I think, from the first game. So you can see Matthew's caught in the binding roots there. Oh, now he's down.
Yeah, as you noticed, if your hit points fall to 0, you are not immediately die. You get into something as we call the down status.
Yeah, if they manage to finish that oak card out, they'll rally. So I think we're going to go take a closer look at the swamp and the Temple of the Ages. So this is where the Temple of the Ages was. You can see the statue of Duena there, seen better days, but it's kind of knocked down now. And you'll notice that a lot of shadowy creatures are kind of leaking through from previous things. They're swimming a little bit there. There we go, with a little bit of underwater. You can see submerged statues from some of the other gods. Why don't we continue onward here? There's Gren.
We got like 5 minutes left.
Okay. So this is a monastery in here. You guys might have seen this in some of our videos. This is one of the places where quite a few events take place. In particular, there's they make a lot of beer and wine at this monastery, and so there's an escort to try to get vital supplies of beer to the town of Beetleton, which you might remember from the first game as well. This is someone asking us to protect the brew shipment.
As you can see, the speech bubbles, all of this also is audio. Guild Wars 2 is extensively voiced. We have like the equivalent of 60 feature-length movies of voice acting in this game. but of course it's too noisy here, so you don't hear it.
So in order to get to Beetleton, they have to travel to the edge of the swamp and go through the swamp a little bit. And you can see they'll be attacked along the way. This is a good example of our event system and how it's dynamic. So you don't have to be present when this escort event is kicked off. Anybody can come along in the middle of it, stumble across it, and help out.
So hey Matthew, we have like 1 minute left. Do you want to show something super flashy or?
Well, why don't we go to see if we can get our guys to go to Beetleton, so we can see the town of Beetleton. So Beetleton is a small town that you guys might remember protecting from the undead in Guild Wars 1. It's grown up a little bit in the intervening years, I think thanks mostly to the efforts of Codicus, who is the new lord of Beetleton. Codicus is a very important character. He's the minister who is responsible for the big carnival in Divinity's Reach. And as a very important person, he has a statue of himself erected in the middle of town. You can maybe go take a look at that. You can see his mansion there in the background. That mansion is actually, we haven't talked about our dungeons a whole lot, but that mansion is actually the site of one of our dungeons. Codicus has a big party there, and things don't go quite well. There's Lord Codicus now, in statue form. Okay, I think that's all the time we actually have for the demo.
Yeah, unfortunately. But we will have another demonstration at 4 o'clock, and we will do it in English again, and we will freestyle again, so we probably show you something else there.
Show you a little something different. I know we're going to play the Necromancer also, so people want to see the Necro in action. We'll go through that at 4.
Okay, I would say a big applause for Mr. Eric Flannum.
Thank you.